Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Beautiful. Coco Gauff and Mother Candi overcome by emotions as American gets commemorated with painting at Cornell Art Museum. The sun-drenched afternoon air carried a stillness rarely felt in downtown Delray Beach, Florida. Yet inside the historic Cornell Art Museum, the atmosphere brimmed with electric anticipation. Beneath the soaring ceilings and beams of golden light streaming through tall arched windows, a crowd had gathered to witness an intimate moment, a revelation, a tribute, a celebration of youth, grit, and legacy. The reason? The unveiling of a new painting commemorating none other than Coco Gauff. When the velvet cloth was gently pulled away, revealing the canvas, silence fell like a veil. Onlookers gasped softly. In the center of the painting, Coco was immortalized in mid-swing, her form fluid and fierce, a blur of motion set against a textured backdrop of swirling blues and glowing golds. Her eyes, captured mid-focus, radiated strength and clarity, as though looking beyond the canvas toward a destiny still unfolding. Among the crowd, one figure stood stiller than the rest, Candi Gauff, Coco's mother. Her hands were clasped tightly near her chest, as if holding something sacred. When Coco turned to her, tears welling in her own eyes, the pair exchanged a glance that needed no words. Emotions, raw and powerful, washed over them. "This is beautiful," Coco whispered, her voice cracking slightly. A brushstroke of legacy. The painting, titled Unshaken Grace, was commissioned by the museum's board as part of its new exhibit, Modern Icons, a generation rising, celebrating living figures who had impacted global culture before their 25th birthdays. The idea to feature Coco was unanimous. "She embodies the future," said curator Alicia Raymond. "But she also honors the past with the way she carries herself. This painting isn't just about tennis. It's about identity, history, and the unrelenting spirit of a young woman raised with love and purpose." The artist behind the masterpiece, Layla Jean-Marie, a Haitian-American known for her emotionally vivid portraits, described the process as a spiritual experience. She spent weeks studying Coco's matches, her interviews, and even visited Delray Beach High School to understand the energy that shaped her. "I didn't want to paint just an athlete," Layla explained during the unveiling. "I wanted to paint the child in her, the warrior in her, and the story in her shadow." From backyards to museums, to appreciate the emotion that rippled through the museum that day, one must return to Coco's roots. A girl from a tight-knit family, she grew up training on public courts in Delray Beach, mentored not just by coaches, but by her parents. Candi, an educator and former track athlete, always emphasized the importance of balancing ambition with humility. "Before every tournament, I told her to focus on her soul before the score," Candi once told Sports Illustrated. "Because the trophies gather dust, but your spirit, that's forever." Coco's rise from wunderkind to Grand Slam champion has been as poetic as it's been meteoric. But while the headlines hailed her as tennis's next queen, behind the scenes, Coco remained grounded. She's spoken candidly about self-doubt, about the weight of expectations, and about how her family, especially her mother, kept her anchored. So when she stood before her own painting at the Cornell Museum, Coco didn't just see herself. She saw every early morning her dad fed her serves, every motivational note her mom slid into her bag, every prayer whispered before a match. A mother's tears, a daughter's pride. In a quiet alcove of the museum, just after the formal program ended, Coco and Candi sat together on a small bench beneath the painting. Cameras gave them space. Time seemed to slow down. Coco reached over, gently holding her mother's hand. "I didn't know it would hit me like this," she admitted. "I've seen myself in photos, videos, on magazine covers. But this feels different. It feels like a part of our story was captured." Candi nodded, wiping her eyes. "You've always painted your own path, Coco," she said. "Now someone painted it for you." They both laughed quietly, the laughter of women who face storms and come out stronger, side by side, more than a tennis player. What made this moment resonate beyond sport was the sheer humanity in it. In a world that often reduces athletes to stats and performance, the painting, and the museum's choice to commission it reminded everyone that Coco is more than her rankings. She's an advocate who marched for Black Lives Matter in her hometown, megaphone in hand, voice firm with conviction. She's a role model for young girls balancing schoolwork with dreams. She's a symbol of possibility, a living, breathing reminder that greatness is never just about talent. It's about intention. And, perhaps most beautifully, she is a daughter who hasn't forgotten who she is or where she came from. Reactions from around the world. Social media lit up shortly after the unveiling. Serena Williams, once Coco's idol, now her supporter, posted on Instagram. A stunning tribute to a stunning young woman. Coco, your art in motion, on and off the court. Billie Jean King wrote, "This generation is in good hands. Coco's story is still being written, but today, we celebrate the chapters that made her." Even fans from abroad commented with admiration. "As a mom, I cried watching Coco and her mother. This is why we tell our daughters to believe in themselves." Maria Barcelona. She is our global sister. Thank you for showing us grace in every moment. Candi, Johannesburg. What comes next? With the 2025 U.S. Open around the corner, Coco's schedule remains packed. But she's made it clear, moments like this aren't just side notes in her journey. They are nourishment for the road ahead. When asked during the museum Q&A how the painting made her feel, Coco smiled shyly. "It makes me want to be even better," she said. "Not just in tennis, but in how I live. Because now my story is on a wall, and people will look at it and feel something. I want that feeling to grow." Final thoughts. The power of commemoration. The Cornell Art Museum's painting doesn't merely celebrate a prodigy. It recognizes a person. It immortalizes a bond between mother and daughter. It tells a story of community, faith, resilience, and emergence. In a corner of Florida, surrounded by brushstrokes of legacy and light, Coco Gauff's journey was elevated to something eternal. And for Coco and her mother, no trophy could match the quiet magic of that moment. The whisper of beautiful echoing through the museum like a promise that the best is yet to come. A soft Florida breeze swept through the grounds of the Cornell Art Museum as the sun began its slow descent beyond the palms, gilding the stucco walls with a warm amber hue. Inside the museum's historic halls, the murmur of voices gave way to hushed awe as a velvet curtain slipped away, unveiling the centerpiece of the evening, a larger-than-life painting of Coco Gauff, immortalized in vibrant brushstrokes that seemed to dance off the canvas. It was not just a portrait. It was a story, one of grit, grace, family, and dreams. Titled Simply Beautiful, the painting captured Coco mid-celebration, arms raised to the sky, head tilted back, eyes shimmering with the tears of 1,000 battles fought on the court. But what truly arrested the gaze was not just Coco's figure. It was the presence of her mother, Candi, standing just behind her, one hand over her heart, her eyes closed in a mixture of relief, reverence, and uncontainable pride. As the crowd erupted into applause, flashbulbs popping like fireworks, Coco turned toward her mother, their eyes locking. For a fleeting moment, the world vanished, the clapping dissolved, and the two were back in time. Back in the car rides to junior tournaments, the late-night homework at hotel desks, the prayers whispered in locker rooms. Back to when Coco was just a girl with a racket too big for her hands and dreams too heavy for her age. And Candi, her anchor, the genesis of beautiful. The artist, 38-year-old Dana Morales, spoke of her inspiration during the unveiling. "I didn't want to just paint Coco Gauff the tennis star," she said. "I wanted to paint Coco Gauff the daughter. The young woman shaped by a mother's love and sacrifice. The strength in her stance, that's Coco. But the light around her, that's Candi." And there it was, what made the portrait so overwhelming. It wasn't just about victory. It was about the invisible, often uncelebrated journey behind it. The 5 a.m. wake-up calls, the long drives, the rejections, the quiet confidence. All of it brushed into one canvas. Coco's speech. "This is for us." As the applause faded, Coco stepped up to the microphone, her hand trembling ever so slightly as she tucked a loose curl behind her ear. "When I was little, my mom would always say, 'You are beautiful because you are strong, not the other way around.' I didn't always believe her, especially when I lost, when I doubted myself, when the world didn't see me. But she never stopped saying it. Tonight, this painting isn't just about a moment in tennis. It's about every moment that led to it. It's about my mom cheering louder than the crowd. It's about her standing tall when I couldn't. About every, "You can do it," when I didn't think I could. This is for us, Mom. You made me believe that even when I was at my worst, I was still beautiful. Her voice cracked. A tear slid down her cheek. And in the front row, Candi Gauff's hand flew to her mouth as she fought her own sob. Mother and daughter, mirror and muse, strength wrapped in love, the power behind the player. Candi Gauff wasn't just Coco's mom. She was the strategist, the protector, the quiet coach in the wings. A former track and field athlete and educator, Candi knew what it meant to be a woman of color, navigating the demanding world of sports and expectations. From the very beginning, she carved out space for her daughter to grow, to fail, and to rise, all without letting Coco lose herself. "She didn't push me," Coco once said in an interview. "She lifted me." The painting captured that exact sentiment. In the swirl of color and emotion, you could almost see the invisible string tethering them, a lifeline of encouragement, humility, and unshakable belief. A museum transformed. The Cornell Art Museum had never seen a night like this. Children clutched tennis balls instead of programs. Young girls in braids stared wide-eyed at the painting, perhaps for the first time seeing someone who looked like them displayed on a pedestal of artistry and reverence. Parents wept quietly. Teenagers took selfies in front of the canvas, posting with captions like "role model energy" and "black girl magic." "It's not just sports," one woman whispered to her daughter. "It's legacy." The exhibit, which was set to run for 3 months, would include an interactive timeline of Coco's journey, behind-the-scenes family photos, and letters between Coco and her mom from early tournaments. But nothing could rival the emotional center that Beautiful had already become, a private moment among public eyes. Later that night, as the crowds thinned and museum lights dimmed to a warm glow, Coco and Candi returned to the painting, just the two of them. "I still can't believe that's us," Coco said softly, wiping under her eyes. "I don't know how she got it so right." Candi, standing still, whispered, "Because it's truth, and truth is always beautiful." They stood there in silence. No cameras, no crowds, just a mother and a daughter, face to face with a portrait that captured not just who they were, but how they became. A symbol beyond the canvas. Beautiful has since been hailed as more than just a tribute. It has become a cultural touchstone, a visual poem about Black motherhood, about generational dreams, about the unseen hands that steady the rising stars. High school art classes have begun dissecting the color palette, exploring the interplay between light and shadow. Young athletes have taken to social media, writing open letters to their mothers, inspired by Coco's speech. And in homes across the country, the image of Coco and Candi now hangs on walls, not just as a tennis story, but as a human one. Epilogue, beauty beyond winning. Coco Gauff will win more titles. She'll face losses. She'll grow. The world will continue to watch her, with praise, with scrutiny, with admiration. But Beautiful will always be there, hanging in the Cornell Art Museum, whispering the truth that transcends any scoreboard. Victory is sweet, but the journey, the love that built you, that's what makes you beautiful. And in the end, that's what brought Coco and Candi to tears. Not the painting itself, but what it reflected. Not perfection, but presence. Not fame, but family. Not a moment, but a lifetime brushed into being.